a little bit more.
Yeah, so these books have been the motivation for me, is to write books that really bring the culture of Africa to the kids who are growing up outside Africa. And culture is about food, it's about language, it's about way of doing things, it's about clothing, it's about a mode of education. So when we were growing up, behavior and manners was just taught in as part of daily life and through stories. And I remember the stories my grandma used to tell us, sitting around the fire after dinner, and we learned a lot. It wasn't written down. There were no books, there were no textbooks, there were no illustrations. It was just more our imagination. And I find, as I was raising my kids, that every time I want to explain something, I know my grandma would have just said one word and I would know exactly what she means. And I find we use a lot of words to try and explain, to try and bring across some values. So I thought it would really be nice if we can begin to develop materials. And so Said Grandma was like one of those books that I want my kids to know how my grandma used to talk to me. And not just my grandma, my mom, and everybody who was raising kids. And, sitting by the fireplace, listening to those stories. And I also didn't want it to be something that is removed and out there, something they can't relate to. So I use a lot of examples in daily life, like today, what they can really see. I don't want them to think, oh, that is just for Africa, so it doesn't really apply to us. So the examples are really in a contemporary way, but bringing back the kind of informal education that we had. And I thought it would be such a shame for most of these conversations to die out, because even in Africa, because they are not written down, they are not in any book, they are not in any kind of literature. People don't speak like that anymore, almost. They don't speak in proverbs, they don't speak in wise sayings. So I thought I should write them down in a very easy to read way that a child can read and understand. So that was the motivation for my book.